guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to pick up with my Life with an Alcoholic series. I'm just going to tell you a couple more little stories about John L. Sullivan and some of his shenanigans. But first I wanted to tell you that I went to my doctor today for my yearly physical. I don't know why she does it in December, not January, but that's just the way it falls. And so I had to get on the scale. Oh Lord, she kept moving that little weight thing up and up and up, and so she set it on 200 because we already know that I weigh 200, but then she kept moving that other little thing up to 210. Oh Lord, I wanted to bust that scale wide open with a sledgehammer. Oh y'all, I need to do something. So maybe that will be my New Year's resolution is to get on a diet. But it's not going to be keto. I can tell you that right now. I love fat, but I can't do all fat. But anyway, I was just thinking back to the last story that I told y'all, and that was about mine and John's anniversary dinner date, where he threw up in the middle of the restaurant. And so he did go back to work. Y'all know that the president and the owner of the company that he worked for was in the restaurant that night and had sent us over a bottle of wine. And John gulped it down and then threw up. And so John did go back to work at that job, but he didn't last maybe a month. This was in September, and I would say by October, the 1st of November, he was out of a job. But y'all, he went back, and a couple of the guys that worked out in the scrap yard convinced him to go to the bar with him after work on a Friday. Not on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, but on a Friday, which was payday. So, y'all, he went to the bar with these guys. And so when he went to the bathroom, somebody grabbed him, from the back like that, and took his wallet out of his pocket and robbed him. And he had just cashed his check. So there we are, another week or two, with no money again. He did some of the most asinine things, y'all. So anyway, he did get fired from that job, and I had quit my job at the shipyard, and I was staying home with Jason and Jeremy, and John was making good money selling scrap metal. So whenever he got fired from that job, in fact, that summer we had taken a vacation to Pensacola, Florida, and that was whenever I got pregnant with Jill. It was actually the end of May. So here I am pregnant, and a husband that's drunk all the time and just got fired from yet another job. So I had to go to work. So I started, like my pediatrician's wife, they needed a babysitter, and then she knew another doctor's wife, and they needed a babysitter. So I started babysitting during the daytime. And then there was a little weekly newspaper there in Covington. I don't remember the name of it. I think it was called the St. Tammany Parish, something or other. So I got a job delivering those newspapers. And they would bring me those papers in these big stack like this. And then I had all these little plastic, cylindrical shaped bags. So I had to roll up all those newspapers and stuff them in those plastic bags. And I had a little Ford Pinto. So I would throw the papers there in the back of the Ford Pinto. And the papers would be delivered on a Wednesday evening. And it would be dark. And so I would have to drive through all those neighborhoods. And I had Jason in the passenger seat. And Jeremy was still, he was only 2 years old. So he was in a little, they didn't have baby, the car seats back then for babies like they have today. We just had that little metal carrier thing. So I had him sitting in the middle there on the console. So Jason would, reach back there and get the papers, and we'd put them down on the floorboard. And then I would just, reach over and grab them and just toss them out the window as I went through the neighborhood. And I think I made about $50 a week doing that. And John, he didn't even look for a job. He just stayed drunk all the time. Y'all, he would, he wouldn't drink before 12 o'clock. I guess that was his, 12 o'clock was his um, coming out of the gate time or whatever. But he would get up early in the mornings and, he would cut the grass and do all the yard work, and then he would come in and sweep and mop the floors. We had a big kitchen with a big tile floor, and he would vacuum and clean the house on Saturday morning. But come noon, after he finished a pot of coffee, he would start drinking his Budweiser. So, he would be drunk, so that I was not going to leave my children there with him in the evening when I went to deliver that newspaper. But I did get a part-time job at a store called Woolco, and that was a spinoff from F.W. Woolworth Company. So I got a job working in the jewelry department, and this was in the afternoon. So Jason was in preschool, and I got one of my neighbors to watch Jeremy for me. I would work about 4 hours, maybe 3 days a week. So here I am working in the jewelry department and everything, and this man, he would you know, come up to the jewelry department, and my coworker, her name was Renee, and she would just, start flirting with him and all this stuff. And she was probably in her 30s, about the same age as me, and she was divorced. Well, this man, I knew him because he was married to the lady that I bought my Beauty Control makeup from. Beauty Control, I think it is still around. It's a makeup company out of Dallas, I believe. And it sold like Mary Kay. Like you would have these home parties, and they would demonstrate the makeup and give you little samples. So that's the makeup that I was using then. So I asked her, I said, why are you flirting with my Beauty Control lady's husband? And she said, oh, we're having an affair. So it was hard for me to go buy my makeup then, because I knew that little tidbit in the back of my mind every time I had to look at his wife, that her husband was cheating on her with my coworker. So then, like I said, I was pregnant with Jill. So my doctor's name was Dr. Sherman. So she tells me that that she had been seeing Dr. Sherman for her gynecological visits. So Dr. Sherman told her that she needed to have more sex. And so she told him, well, I'm divorced. So Dr. Sherman tells her, oh, well, I can take care of that. So she's also having an affair with my obstetrician. And I was going to see him once a month because I had to go, for the prenatal visits. So here Glenda Merle done got herself a job working with the town hussy. Oh, and this is the card from when Jill was born. And you can see it has Dr. Sherman's name on it right there. And I reckon he was German. It was spelled Scheuermann. So I just wanted to tell you all those funny little stories about living with an alcoholic and some of the things that I had to do to survive and put food on the table for my family and pay the mortgage. So I hope you enjoyed it. And I just want to welcome all of you back. And I want to welcome all of my new subscribers. I hope you like my little storytelling and my cooking and everything. And if you do, just keep on coming back. Bye, guys.